Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
All right, welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $2.4 trillion market cap for crypto. The whole market is off 2.5% right now. 66,500 plus for Bitcoin, 2,500 plus for Ethereum. Tether is 120 billion plus market cap. USDC 34 billion plus. XRP number 7 spot at 52 cents right now, off 1.5 on the 24 and off 2.9 on the 7 day. So the whole market is down at the moment. Look at the range of price right now between 52 cents on the bottom and 53 cents on the top. We're sitting right there in the middle at 0.5276. We'll keep an eye on it. I do want to tell you about a great opportunity today. Yes, it's linked to the best home for private equity in the world, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, I got something for you today. Ripple is back. Hello. Yeah. Look, they got 5,000 minimums, which is super affordable. You can't find that anywhere else in the private equity space. And they have discounted pricing today, and it goes into 11:59 tonight Pacific time. And listen, new members, if you don't know, they have streamed the onboarding process. And this will have you up and running in minutes so you can get yourself some private equity just like Ripple. So make your first investment or increase your Ripple position today. They got the discounted pricing in, stops at midnight Pacific time tonight. Click the link to my sponsor below and take advantage of it. Here we go, boy. I said this yesterday. Federal Reserve's Kashkari says very few transactions happen on crypto unless it's drugs or illegal activity. That's funny. If he was better at his job, not only would the U.S. dollar be stronger because he's at the Fed, but he would also know that USD is used more in illegal transactions than any other currency or crypto in the world. Silly rabbit. Billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones. All roads lead to inflation. He's long gold and Bitcoin.
All the things you're saying, are you off buying gold and Bitcoin?
I think all roads lead to inflation. We're going to end up,
but if all roads lead to inflation, therefore gold is a good investment. Is Bitcoin a good investment to you?
I'm long gold, I'm long Bitcoin. I think
all the things you're saying.
There you have it right there. Assets, right? Because he sees inflation, so you want to be in assets. And then this showed up here this morning. Now, I believe this to be accurate. I don't know, but this says Ripple gets a 14-day extension to meet court filing requirements after receiving a default notice in SEC appeal. I went into this, and it basically says earlier today, the U.S. Court of Appeals, the Second Court, issued a default notice to Ripple's legal team, citing the missed deadline to submit an acknowledgement and notice of appearance form, which was due on October 18, 2024. The court has granted Ripple a 14-day extension, giving the team until November 1st, 24, to submit the required paperwork. If Ripple's lawyers fail to meet this new deadline, they risk being barred. You know, I haven't heard anything about this. I went to Stuart Alderoty's page. I haven't seen him say anything, remark to this at all. But legal expert attorney Fred Rispoli commented on the matter, acknowledging that while missing the filing may seem minor, it is still an avoidable mistake, especially given the high legal fees Ripple is paying. He said right here, this time Ripple failed to file the form on time. Not a big deal, but also not the kind of thing you want to see when paying $8,000 per hour for legal services, Rispoli remarked. You know, so I'm taking it because Fred commented on this that it is valid. So, however, but it does look like, you know, they've gotten an extension. So whatever drama may be, you know, perceived from it at first, everything's going to be fine. Then to follow up on this, Chris Larson has moved to file that his notice of appearance, so that's been done, right? So we'll keep an eye out for Ripple to do theirs, and I'm sure Brad will be doing his soon. But let's listen to this because this is exciting. This is Nancy Beaton from Uphold, and she's going to tell you about what they're excited about doing with real USD. And think about all the different pairings. She's going to tell us.
On Uphold, we're anything to anything.
Okay.
So, you know, you're not going to be limited to certain pairs. You can take RLUSD to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to RLUSD. You could take RLUSD to gold. So on our platform, you can
Wow.
really trade anything to anything. So it makes
Sure.
it really easy for the user to get in and out of what they want.
And you're talking about seeing a real liquid, real USD very quickly with those kinds of pairings. I mean, oh my gracious. I don't know about you, but that just hits me right. Shout out to Nancy. She's amazing. She's always at XRP Las Vegas. I know we'll see her this year too. We're going to be excited. And man, I can't wait to see what they're going to tell us all that's going on by the time we get there. Aurorum Equity Partners has announced the launch, listen to this, has announced the launch of the world's first $1 billion fund combining equity and debt, tokenized through collaboration with, you guessed it, Zonix, baby. This new venture, which will use the XRP ledger. Come on in. Yeah. You know who we got? We got the one and only Ray Fuentes on the scene. Let's listen to this right here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today, a major announcement broke for the XRP community. Aurorum Equity Partners partnered with Zonix to launch a $1 billion tokenized equity and debt fund on ours truly, the XRP Ledger. The fund focuses on investments in data centers across the United States, across the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, India, and Europe. Congrats to the team at Zonix for the major milestone. This is really just the first of many for the team, and of course for the XRP Ledger. We know major players like Zonix, Propto, Link2, and other major players are aiming to tokenize real-world assets and move them on the XRP Ledger. I had the opportunity of interviewing Sanjeev Varari, the co-founder and chief business officer at Zonix, at the recent Rippleswell conference in Miami last week. Sanjeev alluded to the big news during our conversation and also commented on the caliber of financial institutions present at the conference, those representing MasterCard and Bank of America, BNY, CME Group, among others were present at the Forward Thinking conference. Zonix is a shining star responsible for moving considerable amounts of collateral on the XRP Ledger, real-world assets. And as we wind down 2025, things are starting to pick up speed.
No doubt about it. Shout out to Ray Fuentes and congratulations to Sanjeev Barari. I mean, this is super, super exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep moving. We got more to look at here. This is Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse, apparently from yesterday's meeting with the Fed, it looks like. The audio on this is pretty rough, and there's a lot of clipping when Chris Larson talks, especially. But, you know, I just want you to realize on the front before I play this that it's not my audio. It's just the way the audio happened to be captured from that particular webinar. So take a listen to this and hear what Chris Larson says about Gary Gensler's reign of terror.
You know, basically can't sell into the U.S. market even now because U.S. companies are like, well, the SEC is appealing. And, you know, they don't understand exactly what the SEC is appealing, but it just is, it's a reason to say, no, we don't want to fight that fight right now. We'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just add, you know, very clearly, I think the approach that Gary Gensler pretty much directed, you know, let's just call it who was behind it. Senator Warren, I think, was on a mission. She's literally called this the war on crypto. Was on a mission pretty much to destroy the industry. To hobble the U.S. industry by using regulation by enforcement rather than creating clear rules of the road. And what the industry has always asked for is like, just make the rules clear. Just tell us exactly what those rules are. We want those clear rules, and the industry can thrive. Consumers can be protected. That's not the approach they took, I think, on purpose, because the attacking the industry on these are all securities, it never made any sense. These are not securities. They don't have rights and privileges. The developing teams that made them don't have obligations. It fits the commodity model fundamentally, and I think they know that. But again, I think it was an attack on the industry to hobble it. Now, what was the effect of that? It just empowered a bunch of sketchier, overseas firms like FTX, which turned out to be a total disaster. So net on net, you didn't protect consumers. You hobbled the U.S. You empowered, industries in Singapore, in London. You didn't create any jobs in Ohio, for example. So it didn't make any sense. And the good news is I think we're at the twilight of Gary Gensler's reign of terror. It's just about over. And I think whoever wins this election is going to be a fundamentally different thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really like the way Chris unpacked it all, okay? I got to be honest with you. And I don't know that I'd ever want to find my ass sitting in an office where Chris is taking me apart piece by piece like that. And I think he was being very polite and professional, but I mean, my man was targeted. Let's get right to it. Let's just say the names. It's Elizabeth Warren, right? It's Gary Gensler. Just call it the way it is, right? And I, you know, because so often we see a level of decorum that no one wants to actually cross, so we can get to the real, you know, the real heart of the conversation. And Chris went right to it today. So thank you, Chris. And and look, and just to go back to that early part of that clip very quickly, Brad Garlinghouse acknowledged the shade of this lawsuit hanging over Ripple and XRP. The financial system doesn't want to touch it because they either don't understand it fully what's happening, or they're afraid that they too will become a target because of the way Gary Gensler is running the SEC. Meanwhile, we keep hearing this. U.S. Congress lawmakers are aiming to pass crucial crypto regulations bill during the upcoming lame duck session before the end of the year. The FIT21 bill and stablecoin regulation bill are the primary focus of these regulatory efforts. And, you know, there may be some credence to this. Tom Emmer has suggested this. And look, and where was Chris and Brad Garlinghouse yesterday? Having a meeting with the Federal Reserve in Philadelphia, telling them Gary Gensler and Senator Warren are the problem here. Take them out of the equation, and we can get the American innovation at the front of the line here. You know, look, this is bigger. This is bigger than just like people want to invest in this stuff. That's not what, you know, I mean, yes, there is that. And obviously we all are. But what we're talking about is tokenizing the world here. All the stocks, all the bonds. We need legislation that allows us to do that. And then in doing so, we're going to be able to take advantage of this technology because you have tokenized these things legally, and now you can begin to use them in your everyday economy. That's where we're going, and that's where we're getting to. Look, even if the article goes on to say, even if we don't get it in the lame duck session, which would be right after the election, right, between December and January there. So that time between the inauguration and the voting, right, and the actual vote, the election itself. So looking at that moment, even if it doesn't happen there, there's a lot of pressure to get this done on the 119th Congress once it's in on 25. Right. So there is so much in the winds and sails to get this innovation and get some kind of regulation passed. That, I believe, is going to be what opens up this market. This crypto market cycle, speaking of that, and all of the point of tokenizing the real world tokenization of traditional markets, this is something that could extend the next bull cycle because we haven't seen that happen yet. Right now, what we've seen is the cycle of Bitcoin leading the pack. You have the halving, then you have 6 months later, the market starts to move, then altcoins move. You know, it's like this you know, very cyclical kind of thing moving now. But we're about to enter a new phase once we get some legislation passed, whether it's in the lame duck or in 25. And when that happens, I think we're going to have to really acknowledge that the charts may never look the same again, because for the tokens that are going to work to complement the financial system and traditional market tokenization, they're going to experience volume of institutional liquidity coming off the sideline because they'll have the clarity to do so. And what does that market look like then? What does that look like then? I have no idea. I'm just tickled to death that I'm not missing it this time, the way I did Facebook, the way I missed Google, the way I missed Amazon, and the rest of it. But not this time, because this time is our time. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. That'll do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one.